Here now is your most comprehensive show on matters public policy in Kenya. Business Glide it is. My name is Richard Mwanja, your resident host here on the channel. Such a pleasure and an honor to have you on board. Now, after their secondary education, they posted impressive results and they were carried shoulders high as they harbored aspirations of joining top medical schools in Kenya's best universities. And yes, indeed, they did so. And after many years going through the treacherous journey of a medical student in Kenya, they graduated. But what has awaited them and remains of them this far is a hard journey of tamacking, looking for employment opportunities in a country where there still is a deficit in matters healthcare personnel. And also when it comes to the remuneration bit of it, they are still grappling with challenges they are in. What could be done to improve the situation for Kenya's medical personnel in this country, even as the country continues to experience bottlenecks with regards to improving its healthcare system? That, of course, forms our basis of our conversation today here on Business Glide. And with me is renowned public scholar Herman Manyora, who is going to help us digest this conversation about improving the welfare of our Kenya's medical doctors. Great to see you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Richard. How are you?
I'm quite fine. How about you?
Wonderful. I can see you are dressed very nicely.
From Costa Rica.
For Costa Rica.
This one. But of course, I'm just trying to condole with the Moi's family. Okay. This week, they mark the 3rd anniversary of the late President Moi. Yeah. So we are just trying to do the black thing.
We are together with him.
Out of respect.
Yes.
Do you miss him, though?
Of course.
How about your friend, the son, Gideon Moi? He has gone away from the political landscape. He's quiet. What's happening to him, by the way?
I don't know. He's not my friend.
He's not your friend?
He's just a good Kenyan. But
after elections, now you're no longer in his side.
I never was on his side.
You're not a true friend.
I'm not a politician.
But people used to see you alongside him.
Where?
Kenyans are saying that.
Not even once. I haven't even greeted him once like this.
But you go to KTN every other day.
But that's a different story, yeah.
All right, no problem. Let's talk matters, the welfare issues that touch on our medical personnel. And this week started on a grief. In Machakos County, a young doctor, Dr. Nicholas Mwoki, was buried. He committed suicide, and he cited frustrations out of no employment opportunities, mounting debts on his side. He has graduated from the university after 6 years in medical school, and it's just one of the many cases that our healthcare practitioners are facing. In this country, and Susan Akumicha is probably watching the CS for Health, out of the 5,000 registered doctors within the last 5 years, only 1,000 have been absorbed by the government. Let's start here. Would you say that the issue of devolving healthcare is actually the author of this particular problem? It should have remained a duty of the national government.
Employment of doctors or lack thereof did not start with devolution. Kenyan doctors, there were times long before devolution when almost 6, 7 out of every doctor in Zimbabwe, in Namibia was Kenyan. Botswana, Kenyan doctors have been across the world. Many doctors have not been employed here for, it's been like that. You could perhaps say the arrangement with the devolved government could have made it worse, but the situation was already bad.
It was already bad.
Yeah.
But then again, if you are talking matters many being Botswana, in Zambia, it's the issue of brain drain. If we're gonna churn out so many thousand graduates from our medical schools, and these are people who scored S who are there for 6, 7 years, so we are likely even to see an increased rate of brain drain. They're even gonna relocate from Kenya and go there for good.
The situation is worse than brain drain. In fact, what we call brain drain has changed to brain gain. In fact, this country, if we were just serious, kidogo, if this country was serious kidogo, we can export labor in an organized, not this slavery in Saudi and the rest of these Gulf states, organized labor, government to government. Because there are many countries that require skilled laborers, including, of course, even up to doctor level. We can export hundreds of thousands of workers outside in good conditions, no slavery in the Gulf states. So there's nothing wrong with people going out. But we have a very serious situation where the figures we have are 4,000 doctors without jobs. Juxtapose this with hospitals that are terribly understaffed, stuffed of doctors. But it's not there. It's not. You can't stop there. Don't stop there. Go further. These were the boys and girls we carried shoulder high after class 8.
From
Top
Alliance and all.
420, 450, no 430, whatever it is. Then the scores clean A's, overall A, 84 points. Shoulder high. 6 years School of Medicine. And they are now not employed. In a country that requires doctors. If that's not stupid, I don't know what is stupid.
What then do you make of this internship that they're given 1 year round internship? Why then post them for internship in those sub-county hospitals and those county hospitals when you cannot absorb them? Is it that we're already good at where we are in those developed countries?
No, internship is part and parcel of the training.
Of the training, yeah.
In medical school. But you see, this country does not have enough doctors.
Absolutely.
Even if we employed all those, we shall still need doctors. Everybody knows that. So where is the problem? It's not even money. Because if you take your pen or your calculator, I belong to the days of pens, you belong to the days of calculator on your phone.
Yeah.
If you employed 4,000 doctors, give them their salary times 12. It's not even, I'm sure, it's not even, it may not even be 10% of the money you are giving MPs to go and play with in the name of CDF.
Or facilitative allowances.
We can even do it here. Who can try and help us? 4,000 doctors. They don't even earn 200,000 shillings. Let's give them good salary. Let's give them better than they earn. Let's give them 300 times 4,000 times 12. It's not the 44 billion we have given MPs.
Still under a billion.
Sure. Yeah. I'm not, but I will calculate later. I removed the calculator on my phone because it was full. The memory was full. So I would have done right away for the viewers. But let the viewer calculate. So it's not money. It's just stupidity.
We don't see the magnitude of the
problem. We never
problem.
do anything so long as that thing does not have benefit to the racketeers, the Ngorokos, the people who want to steal, the billionaires who want to be bigger billionaires. If it was a project like a dam, we would put money there because then we will follow there and eat. We say we want to do so many dams, but we don't spare 1/100th of that money, 1,000th of that money to pay to employ doctors.
What then again do you make of those doctors who are lucky to get employed by the private sector in Kenya, but most of them are crying of the kind of contracts that have been advanced to them? You are not allowed to join a labor union. There are no issues to do with your leave days and all that. Punitive contracts, we can call it that way.
But that's what happens. Every time somebody knows you are desperate. It's not just doctors who are being paid peanuts by private practitioners, private clinics and hospitals. It's teachers. We train teachers at the University of Nairobi. The government doesn't employ the teachers. People employ secondary school teachers, Bachelor of Education, Science or Arts,
Chemistry,
and pay them 7,000 shillings.
A month.
A month, 10,000 shillings. We train P1 teachers. People trained 10 years ago. Labda hao ndio tunafikia sasa 10 years ago. Somebody who left college 8 years ago can't even try to apply because hajafikiwa unless this 30,000 has changed the situation a bit. What does that mean? It means therefore these people who are starting the so-called academies are employing these P1 teachers and giving them 3,000 shillings. So what will stop a private clinic from employing a doctor who is desperate and giving them 40,000 shillings?
And as a country, you can say the labor union hands are tied. They cannot even get...
Which labor are you talking about? This is once you have created an exploitative ecosystem, anybody within that ecosystem will suffer. Because there's nowhere you can run to. Who will you run to? Nowhere to run. Nobody to run to. Because it's a vulture state. with carcasses all over. The vulture will be hovering around. So there's nothing.
Very well.
Yeah, even the trade unions themselves, they are also there. They are part of the ecosystem.
But then again, the onboarding of the universal healthcare program under the previous regime was one of the avenues that the government was seeking to absorb these many medical students in Kenya into the labor market. The program is still there, the universal healthcare program, but few of them got in there. As you can remember the figures that I quoted to you, within the last 5 years, out of the over 5,000 who are registered, only 1,000 have been absorbed into the program. Would you say UHC in itself was a dead end?
Of course, it's just talk. It's just talk, nothing else.
It was an ambitious plan.
Just talk.
Well laid out.
Which one? This is just talk.
What do you make of the donor funding that has gone into UHC? Partners coming on board, state and non-state.
Everything just talk. Then nobody was serious. Look, even though I see MPs saying they want to work with the government to develop, to go to the president to kneel.
Development carrots.
Do you know part of the problem in the health sector is simply because, remembering my primary school debate, simply because so much money for Minister of Health does not leave Nairobi, and yet health is devolved. So these cheap MPs, instead of following the president for development, why can't they push the government and say you must implement the constitution? If money is devolved for water, what is it doing in Nairobi?
For drugs.
Water for money for water. The biggest chunk of that money is in Nairobi. It's not devolved. Same with health. Same with roads. So the challenges you are seeing in the health sector arise out of the fact that funds that should be released to the counties are held up here, including the scandalous leasing of equipment program. Scandalous.
You call it scandalous?
Yeah, it was scandalous. Everybody knows. Everybody admits. It was absolute rubbish.
What?
Of course, absolute rubbish. Everybody knows. So these cheap MPs, instead of saying, look here, our people are dying home there. Our hospitals lack equipment and drugs. Our hospitals do not have any doctors, and yet 4,000 doctors are not employed in this country. Let us employ those doctors. What are you doing with the money in Nairobi there?
At Afya House.
Because that money has been held in Nairobi to be put in programs where the mandarins can go and eat.
At the expense of people's lives?
Yeah, of course. They don't care whether you die.
Even a family in Marsabit?
They don't care. Who cares?
You mean the situation is also bad in marginalized areas?
If people cared, this country would not be what it is. The country will be better. This country has everything you need to make it good. But the people, those guys who steal money meant for the sick, for the dying, they don't care. They give a hoot. If they cared, the money for Minister of Health will all be devolved. We would have created laws and structures to ensure so governors don't play around with that money. We have devolved health without caring. Are doctors going to be frustrated? An MCA is trying to tell a doctor what to do.
Dying by depression.
What is this? How can an MCA tell a doctor what to do? Not just a doctor, even the superintendent of the hospital.
What?
The man in charge. MCA wanaenda pale wanamsomea.
Fanya hivi.
So, we are just a country of people who are not serious. We needed to create. I do not agree with those who think health ought not to have been devolved. You cannot talk of devolution anywhere. Wherever there is federalism or quasi-federalism, the first thing that is devolved is health and education. Health, education. So in fact, we left health and education in Nairobi to please teachers so that the constitution may be passed. But education is supposed to be devolved. Health is supposed to be devolved. Social services are supposed to be devolved. Agriculture.
Very well.
Go anywhere. But we did not create sufficient structures, and we have left all the money in Nairobi to be put in. Even you hear the president talk about dams, where will that money come from? That money is coming from money that should be devolved to counties for water. So that I know of counties, they get donor funding, to get water from the source, to put it in some big reservoir, topologies like those ones where I come from, where gravity will take water. The role of the county government, or government for that matter, is just to provide the pipes. Only. And there is no money. So
And
even
security.
the owners just look and say, what kind of people are these? They have done the donkey work. 99.9%
They've met
water
the cost.
treatment, everything. They have all the works they have done. Wamemwekea mpaka kwa mlima. Sasa water tu roll down. Kwenda kwa nyumba za watu. Pipes peke yake.
County Assembly inasema county ina pesa.
No, but sio kusema hakuna. Si pesa iko Nairobi. And the pesa ya health iko Nairobi.
Afya House.
Because the only amount that's supposed to remain with the national government is for what we call referral hospitals. Kenyatta, Mathare,
Moi Teaching Referral.
Spinal,
Yeah.
and MTR, Moi Teaching. Only those. Maybe there's another one I've forgotten. Only those ones. The rest of the money is supposed to go down. But the government holds all that money. List equipment, sijui what, programs, sijui malaria.
Ambulances are all over the
sijui
place nowadays.
Video ukora
Yeah.
tu. This country has a problem.
You find a county government has actually bought 100 ambulances. What for? If then doctors are not in those hospitals.
But why? If the government didn't buy those and they are mitumba,
Those
including some that were brought here left hand
even those that
by some county, yeah. Those are mitumba ambulances in many counties. If the governor didn't do that, how will he eat? How will he get re-elected in the next election?
Alfred Mtui.
How will he marry a third wife and a fourth wife?
Alfred Mtui is the face of.
Which one? Oh, those cowboy things.
He was flagging off ambulances by the day.
Optics.
Optics, you
Yeah.
say?
Many counties are bought very useless vehicles because there's nobody to check. The government procure system is the most stupid thing I've come across.
Quality
since I was
assurance is
born.
not a thing.
It's rubbish.
Very well. In the interest of time, let's wind up here. In these particular hunger-stricken areas, more particularly those in arid and semi-arid areas, we have seen many people depend on the goodwill of NGOs, non-governmental organizations.
Yes.
If this week is not AMREF, the next week is UN or Oxfam Foundation or Plan International, just for them to be availed with medical supplies and healthcare and all those kind of things. Would you say the government is trying to play a backseat role because they know UN will be there at the end of the day? Oxfam, AMREF will be there to cater for those people in those marginalized areas. Is it why they are downplaying the magnitude of this problem?
No, not exactly that. This is a game. Even the international scale is a game. Don't lie to yourself that even those coming with this charity work,
Serving
they really
humanity.
mean it. It's also a game of making money. Read books like Lords of Poverty. They're just making money.
You don't say.
Yeah. That's how the world of charity is a world of money making.
It's not all
All
about
these guys who come and open schools and what orphanages here, they collect money from people in Europe and America. But the most important thing, a government cannot abscond its responsibility of taking care of its citizens and leave it to some busybodies from Europe in the name of NGOs and what have you. No, that's what they can only supplement. But the main job
should be done by the government itself.
The government can only be supported if there's any support. From where I stand, we don't need that support. These are just busybodies, jokers. I've done an intensive research for my own interest. In the relief or so world, is a complex chain.
Even in that Kakuma refugee camp.
Yes, the complex chain of this business is conmanship. They can come and ask me, including people are dying and they are taking food and they can't touch it.
What?
Yeah, this has happened. It's documented. The so-called some UN agency is providing humanitarian assistance in terms of food. Then it is given to some organization, some business organization. Then there is the transporters, there's the insurance. It's a complex web. Then they must buy food. The food is not even bought in Kenya. Then the food is taken to the people. People look at it and run away. It's not food and they are dying. It is.
All right.
Africans, we have a big problem.
Very well, the message is home. Clearly, much needs to be done to resuscitate and revitalize the fortunes of Kenya's health care sector so that Kenyans continue to afford the best health access, they can today, if not yesterday. Time for Fun of the Week. It is a group of students from Catholic University of Eastern Africa from School of Nursing, led by Timothy Kamau.
Timothy Kamau.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Timothy, and your colleagues and friends for being part of this family. We thank you very much.
They are hopeful that once they graduate from School of Nursing, they'll at least get an opportunity.
They will get
What
jobs.
is your message to them?
The country is going to change. This country, I'm hopeful the country will change.
Will change.
And move forward.
Under William Samoei Ruto.
Correct. He's a good president.
Until next time on Business Glide, my name is Chad Mwenja. Always a pleasure to have you on board. Up next on your screen is the Business Glide African Proverb of the Day.